So how did you go with this question? It's a little tricky, isn't it? So don't be too disappointed if you weren't able to get the answer. Let's now take it really slow and try to figure it out together. So let's read it. If cos of x equals negative cos of 3 pi over 11 and negative 3 pi on 2 is less than x is less than pi, find the values of x. It's quite a mouthful. Now, this question is similar to what we previously did in our last question, but I'm going to approach it in a slightly different way, but utilizing the same principles. So let's begin by taking it really slow because I fear that some of us might not even understand what this type of question is asking. So let's begin by just looking here at cos of 3 pi over 11. Now, we haven't memorized what cos of 3 pi over 11 is. 3 pi over 11 isn't an angle that is pi on 4 or pi on 6 or pi on 3, one of the ones that we've memorized. It's just kind of a random angle that's in my first quadrant. So let's just draw it in. So let me come over here and draw it in. I might have to first do that. Let me use red, and I'm just going to draw it in. There it is. Now, we haven't memorized this angle, so that means we're not going to know what my exact values are going to be. So let's just call them A and B. So if I'm being asked to find cos of 3 pi over 11, well, I know that my cos is just my x value, so it's simply going to be A. So this is going to be A. But it's very important that we see this negative. What we're trying to find is cos of x equals negative A. So it's actually, if this value down here, that's A right there. So obviously negative A is going to be symmetrical to it. It's just going to be over here. So over here, that's going to be negative A. And obviously, I say obviously, but we could keep on drawing down and get to this point as well on my unit circle. So we could say that this point is going to be negative A, and that negative A is what I'm after. Negative A, B, and down here it's going to be negative A, negative B. But we don't care about this negative B, we just care about these negative A's. That's what we're after. So let me come over here and let me draw in some lines from here to here, and draw in another line from here to here. Perfect. Now, would you all agree with me? Because these are symmetrical, this angle right here is simply going to be 3 pi over 11. 3 pi over 11. So too, this down here is also going to be 3 pi over 11. Because if it's all symmetrical, this has to be 3 pi of 11. This one down here has to be 3 pi of 11. I'm now going to get rid of this. We don't really care about this. We're going to get rid of it. It served its purpose. Thank you very much. But now we bid you adieu. Let's get rid of it. There we go. So now, and I could rewrite this like this. Cos of what angle is going to give me negative A? Now, I fear that many of us would go, that's easy. It's going to be here to here, and also here to here. This angle takes me here to get me my negative A, and this angle goes whee, all the way down here to get me my negative A. Bada boom, bada bing, I'm done. But let's not rush ahead of ourselves. Let's get rid of these lines. Let's now keep in consideration our domain. Now our domain looks kind of funky, so I'm going to write it in a slightly different way. I'm going to write it, it's going to be the same, I'm just going to write it a little bit differently. I'm going to say my x is an element of, and I'm going to use some pretty colors, I'm going to say negative 3 pi 2 to 0, close it, bang, let's go blue, then 0 to pi. Now this and this, it's the same thing. I've just written it in a bit of a different way because I think it's going to help us. So let me now show you where this domain exists. Just this first part here, this is 0 to pi. It's going to be from 0 to pi. No big surprises there. So it's going to be here. Let me do a big one. It's going to be here all the way to here. So that means now when I'm finding what my angle is going to be, I was correct when I said it was going to be from here to here. That's absolutely correct. It's going to be from here to here. So what's that going to be? Well, that means my x is going to be equal to, well, if I know that from here to here, to make a full from there to there, that's pi, 180, from there to there. But now I'm minusing this 3 pi on 11. I'm going back. So it's like I'm going pi minus 3 pi on 11. And I just need to, that x is just so ugly. I need to kill it and redraw it. That's a bit better. So if I want to find what my x will be to get me negative a, I just need to figure out what this angle is. And it's obviously going to be pi minus 3 pi on 11. So I could rewrite this as 11 pi over 11 minus 3 pi over 11. And that's going to be equal to 8 pi over 11. And guess what? That is one of my solutions. We're doing it. We're nearly there. Now, let me rub that out. Mission accomplished for the first one. But now I fear that many of us would just go whoop, 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 whoop. There's my second one. But look, this angle goes outside of my domain. Does everyone see how this orange line is going to be bigger than pi? And I can't have anything bigger than pi. So I am not going to find that one. It's not going to exist. So that means I'm going to have to look at my second section of my domain. So this one right here. Now, we're going to be going backwards. So we're going to be working clockwise. So just think of it as opposite as before. So now this right here, that's going to be negative 3 pi on 2. So it's going to be all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way here. That's what it's going to look like. So this is where my angles can exist for the second part of my domain. So that means, let me get my orange back, I could have an angle from here working backwards to here. And if I do that, I'm going to get to my exact value of negative a. So I just need to figure out what this is going to be. And hopefully you can see that from here to here would be negative pi. So from this point all the way to this point, that's negative pi. But then I'm going back a bit. So in this case, when I go back, I'm going to be plusing 3 pi on 11. So my second x value, noticing I'm going to have more than one values, is going to be negative pi plus, oh, that's an ugly pi. Let me try again. Negative pi plus 3 pi on 11, which is going to be equal to negative 11 pi over 11 plus 3 pi over 11, which is going to be equal to negative 8 pi on 11. And when you really think about it, that makes perfect sense, because if here to here was 8 pi, then here to here is going to be negative 8 pi on 11. Sorry, if here to here is 8 pi on 11, then here to here is going to be negative 8 pi on 11. I have to be ever so careful in how I speak. There we go. So that is going to be my other one. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let me rub that out. Is there another one I could find? Absolutely there is. What about the angle starting here and going all the way to here? That's going to take me to negative a as well. This from here to here is going to take me to negative a, and that's what I'm after. So how am I going to find that? Well, in this case, from here to here, that's going to be negative pi. From here to here is going to be negative pi. And then I'm going to be minusing negative 3 pi on 11. Negative 3 pi on 11. So that means my third x value is going to be negative pi minus 3 pi on 11, which is going to be equal to negative 11 pi on 11 minus 3 pi on 11, which is going to be equal to negative 14 pi on 11. That is going to be my third x value. And now I am done. I have answered this question. I've taken this question ever so slowly to make sure that you've gotten it. I apologize if I accidentally said the wrong word here or there when I was explaining it. It's kind of all a bit of a mouthful. But these values, 8 pi on 11, all of them are going to give me this negative a. And I just want to prove this to you a bit more. So if you say, I get it now, Mr. S, you don't need to explain it anymore, you can click off, but I just want to really hammer home this point. Let me come over here. Let me bring up this. Here is my unit circle. Let me zoom in a bit less. Whoop. All right. I'm going to start with 3 pi on 11. I'm going to put in 3 pi on 11. And can we all see? So this is where we started from. We said 3 pi on 11 was a. So as you can see, it's negative 0.655. So we come over here. Do you remember when we did this at the very beginning? We drew in a line. Let me just do this rough now. We drew in a line from here to here. And we said that was 3 pi on 11. And we said it was a and b. Well, it turns out that a is negative 0.655. And we said this was 3 pi on 11. So that's what we've just done now. But we wanted to find when this was negative. So what we're saying is we're going to get negative 0.655. So let me say that again. We're going to get negative 0.655 when we have 8 pi on 11. So let's test that out. What if I have 8 pi on 11? It's going to take me over here, and my cos is going to be negative 0.655. That's exactly what we found. Now, what if we put in negative 8 pi on 11? So I come over here, I put in a negative, I come here, look at that, negative 0.655. What about negative 14 pi on 11? I come over here, I type in 14, it's going to take me over here, negative 0.655. So these are the three values which are going to give me my negative cos of 3 pi on 11 and also fall within my domain. I really hope that this was a clear explanation of this type of question. If you do have any issues with it, try rewatching this again, or if it isn't clear enough, come speak to me and we can sort it out. Well, actually, we won't be able to speak to each other, but just give me an email. Maybe I'll make another video like this if you found this one kind of helpful. All right, let's keep soldiering on.